Well, hello and good evening. Welcome to Restore Live on a Monday evening, and going out to the British Unionist People's Voice, the Unite Unionist Group, and also Restore GBNI, and also Restore GBNI um, on YouTube. Okay, so what are we here for this evening? Tonight we've we've entitled the screen "Desperately Seeking Simon." Now, who's Simon, you may ask? Simon Coveney. Simon Coveney is the minister in the Irish Republic, who is the Minister for Foreign Affairs. So let's just tell you a little bit about Simon by showing some pictures, and we'll explain who Simon is, and we'll explain why that it is that we're desperately seeking Simon Coveney. And we want him to come on our screen. What we want is that we want Simon to come and to talk to British Unionists. We want them to come here and to explain why that it is that even although that the Irish government are so-called co-guarantors of the Belfast Agreement, well, you see, Simon seems to be insisting that British Unionists would be made second-class citizens, and they don't have a right to democracy. They don't have a right to be part of the United Kingdom. I know that Simon says that they can't have a border between Ireland right now. That's the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Well, you see, Simon is insisting that there's a border placed in the North Channel between ourselves here in Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom. And that is totally unacceptable. So who is Simon? Let me try to take you on a little journey, in order that what we can do is that we can explain something, and we can just explain to everyone where it is that we're coming from. And you'll be left in no doubt at the end of me taking you through a few pictures and a few short video clips of why that it is that we need to talk to Simon Coveney. Because I believe that our politicians are not doing a very good job at the minute. And maybe we can appeal to the Irish government that why would they want to treat British Unionists as second-class citizens here in Northern Ireland? It's totally unacceptable. So who is Simon Coveney? So let's just pop up a few pictures here and we'll explain. Okay, this is Simon Coveney. So Simon Coveney, TD and Minister for Foreign Affairs and Trade. That's his email there. And we'll be emailing him, and we're going to encourage everyone else to email Simon, as a result of what's actually happening right now, where the Irish government, at the behest of the EU, they're insisting that British Unionists are being treated as second-class citizens here in Northern Ireland, and we don't have the same rights as our British brothers and sisters right around the United Kingdom, no matter whether that's in England, Scotland, or Wales. So take a good look. This is Simon Coveney. So I'm going to take you through a few pictures, which will show you what it is that Simon's department does, and also where it is that Simon's department is actually housed. And would you believe it? They're actually housed here in Belfast, so they're within easy access to us to go to make some protest by way of handing in letters and really asking Simon to come on to restore GBNI and to make himself accountable to the people here in Northern Ireland, in order that we can say that, what you are doing here is that, the hypocrisy of you people is absolutely unbelievable. And do you really not want to rethink your ways? So I'm just going to pop up another picture and we'll go through a few here. Okay, so government, both agencies under the aegis of my department, Enterprise Ireland, EI and IDI, Department of Foreign Affairs, and INI, hosted a dinner in the Irish Embassy in perhaps the consulate in Notting Hill, Belfast. There you go. So this is what happens in Notting Hill, just off the Malone Road in Belfast. Now I'm going to pop up another small clip here. Okay, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ireland, Simon Coveney. introduces Ireland's application for observer status to the Arctic Council at a webinar hosted by the Institute for International and European Affairs and the Department of Foreign Affairs on the 1st of March 2021. So what I'm aiming at doing here is just to show that Simon Coveney is actually the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Now remember that, Foreign Affairs. Here's another little clip. Okay. We work with British government, the Northern Ireland Executive, and with civil society to foster reconciliation and develop opportunities for North-South cooperation. Through these efforts, we consolidate the achievements of the Good Friday Agreement and ensure that this island can reach its full potential. So, the Irish Department for Foreign Affairs, to which Simon Coveney is the head, they say here that they work with British government, the Northern Ireland Executive and civil society to foster reconciliation and develop opportunities for North-South cooperation. Now remember these words, to foster reconciliation. Just ask the question, by the Simon Coveney's insistence at the behest of Brussels, by his insistence that there would be a border placed in the North Channel between people in Northern Ireland, British people in Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom. I mean, is that fostering reconciliation? Quite the contrary. What that is an aggressive act. I mean, that's an act of war here against the United Kingdom. And make no mistake about it, people, that's exactly what this is. This is, the Irish government declaring war on the United Kingdom. And you might think that they might be strong words, but they're aiming to break up the United Kingdom. That's what they're doing. Now, they might be doing it with not a bullet fired. They're not doing it in a such an aggressive manner that they're leading in troops or trying to take over. No, they're not. They're using the threat of violence, and we'll show you that in a minute. They're using the threat of violence, and they used it quite successfully in order that Boris Johnson and Michael Gove and the Conservatives, well, they didn't really want the hassle of any violence here in Northern Ireland. So they rolled over, and what they did was they give in to, in fact, they implemented things against what they would have seen would be the lesser of two evils. And really the lesser of two evils for them was the law-abiding British Unionist folk here in Northern Ireland. And as we go, we're just going to show you exactly what has happened, why that it is that we've ended up with a border in the North Channel, completely against our democratic right, completely against even the terms of some agreements that has been signed. For example, the Belfast Agreement. There should be no constitutional change without a referendum. But yet the British government in the Northern Ireland office, Brandon Lewis, they tweaked the terms of the Good Friday Agreement, the Belfast Agreement, to permit for this protocol to be put in place. And again, we can show you that as we go. So stick with us. And at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, I'm going to appeal to the people who I know that will be watching this evening. And that is the Department of Foreign Affairs from Ireland. And, come, make someone available. Send them forward to come on to our channel here at Restore in order that we can really ask very, very important questions and ask you people how it is that you think that you can foster reconciliation by actually driving people apart, and how it is that you think that you can foster reconciliation whilst you create this unfairness. Really, all you're doing is that you are turning people against you. And when you say that you want some sort of united Ireland, some sort of new Ireland, well, personally, I mean, I couldn't unite with you people, because you people don't treat me as a someone that should have equality and respect. So I'm appealing to the Department of Foreign Affairs in Ireland to make Simon Coveney available to come onto this channel. And we do hope that you actually do, Simon. We do. Because I think that maybe you haven't thought through what it is that you're actually doing. That all you're going to do is create such resentment, such hatred in this place. So we're hoping that you come on. We actually are. Now, over to another picture before we move on. Yeah, we've already looked at that one. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do at this stage. I'm going to play a couple of short video clips. And these were video clips at the weekend that I went to a building in Notting Hill in Belfast. And I went there because I understood that this is actually the Department of Foreign Affairs in Belfast. And you'll hear this lady speaking that came to the gate. She was very courteous to me and vice versa. But you'll hear her actually saying that the official Irish department is in Linen Hall Street, number 40 Linen Hall Street. But really what she didn't have to say was this is the unofficial Department of Foreign Affairs just off the Malone Road in Belfast. So I'm going to show you two short video clips, starting with one which isn't really significant, but it sets a context and it's only less than a minute. And then we'll go on to another one which might be a couple of minutes, which really allows people to understand where this building is, what this building is, and who that it is that is in charge of this particular building in Belfast. So video number one.
It's the residents.
The residents here? There's no one lives here. Is this where Simon Coveney and whatnot would come to?
Who am I speaking to?
Right, well you see, we're unionists basically, right? We run a citizens journalism. This is what we're involved in, a thing called Restore UK. Right. And, we've just been told that this is the Department for Irish Foreign Affairs. And I'm just wondering if this is somewhere that I can drop a letter that Simon Coveney would get.
Well, your best bet is to drop it into the British Irish Secretariat.
Right, okay. Whereabouts is that, love?
40 Linen Hall Street.
40 Linen Hall Street, yeah.
Second floor.
Right, okay. But this isn't the building. We were given this information that this was the Irish Department for Foreign Affairs, is that right?
No. It's not, no.
Is this not to do with Ireland, this place? I think it is, because we know people that's been here in meetings.
Yes, yeah, I mean it is, I suppose you could say, but it isn't a department, it's not.
Right, so who would be here under normal circumstances?
Nobody from the government.
Nobody from the government, okay. Right, fair enough. No, again, we're just wanting to know, again, so, yeah. Well, look, I mean, if I were to drop a letter in here, could we get it to Simon Coveney? And all we wanted to do is we want to invite him on our show, basically, to come and talk to British Unionists. What we think that he's not really taking into consideration British Unionist concerns over this protocol.
Yeah,
do you know?
Well, no, absolutely. Your best bet is the official office is 40 Linen Hall Street, second floor.
Right, okay.
It's the British Irish Secretary.
We'll drop it there. But listen, thanks very much for coming out. And look, and I hope I didn't disturb you or anything.
No, you're great.
Not meaning to. Thank you very much now. Thank you. Bye-bye.
My apologies. The way that should have worked is I should have played a short video clip first, but it's not much point in playing the short one now because that one's already out. So you see the reason why I felt the need to go to that building was to ask that could I deliver a letter there that would be delivered to Simon Coveney, and really asking for Simon Coveney to come on to Restore and to talk to the people of Northern Ireland and to have a genuine conversation as to why it is that he expects that in a place that is meant to have fairness and equality and respect for all citizens. Well, you see, that fairness, equality and respect, it doesn't exist if you are a British Unionist. And make no mistake, let's try to understand why that it is that we have a border in the North Channel right now, and why that it is that so many unionists are absolutely, hopping mad about this, and why that it is that British unionists are putting their politicians under pressure right now. Because, our politicians, if we hadn't have pushed them, if we hadn't have dragged them kicking and screaming, well, you see, with the exceptions of some politicians, those in leadership right now, well, they would be working within this Northern Ireland withdrawal agreement, the protocol, and delivering the breakup of the United Kingdom. I used to say in its embryonic form, but it was pointed out to me a few weeks ago by Ben Habib that, John, that the United Kingdom currently has already been broken up, because what has happened is Northern Ireland are not aligned with England, Scotland and Wales on exactly the same terms, and that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable to me as a British Unionist, and I'm sure that is also unacceptable to you also. Now, I'm going to play two little video clips here. And the reason why that I'm playing these video clips is just to set a context of why it is that we have a border in the North Channel, and why it is that we don't have a border where the border actually is. So two short video clips. Number one.
Mock soldiers armed with fake guns created a checkpoint on the Irish border as a warning to British Prime Minister Theresa May about the dangers of a hard Brexit. Hundreds of demonstrators were at the event, during which they also demolished a constructed concrete block wall built for the protest.
And it's the ordinary people of Ireland who won't accept the border, so whether they will physically attack a border or not, I don't know, but they certainly won't accept one. But the reality is, this isn't about breaking down the border. This is about reminding people not to impose a border.
They claim a hard border could destroy the 20-year-old peace deal. The British and Irish governments have said they hope to avoid a hard frontier, but some analysts suggest that, if customs checks are introduced, security forces may be needed to protect them. Meanwhile, the police service of Northern Ireland has been given extra resources for Brexit, but said that they hope they can adopt a softer community-style approach.
There you go. I mean, that's number one clip, and it just ended there abruptly, and I wasn't really ready for it. But that's one clip. And now I would like to play you another clip. Now, look very, very carefully at some of the thought processes, some of the speech that is coming out of these people, and try to understand. What did they say in that last clip? They said that if there was a border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, that would end the 20-year-old peace deal. Now, that was in 2018. It's now, I think, 23 years old, coming very, very soon. And, I've my thoughts about that peace deal. That peace deal isn't working for us British Unionists. The Belfast Agreement isn't working for us. And, and I've seen a newspaper clipping today of David Trimble saying that British Unionists shouldn't be withdrawing their support for the Belfast Agreement. I mean, is that man taking leave of his senses? He wants to continue in something that it will ultimately destroy us. We need to stop, draw a line. We need to back away from this. We need to insist, and our political parties need to insist that they won't be back near that Belfast Agreement again, unless it functions in a way that delivers equality, respect, and for British Unionists, because right now it isn't doing that. So that's what the Nationalists said in that last clip. They said, and the Republicans, that it would end the 20-year-old peace deal. So they threatened that the peace deal was over and they would go back to violence. That's what they were threatening there. Now, just hear this video clip, and there's a succession of people who are using fine words. And listen very carefully to this clip that was doing the rounds over the weekend.
What that border is going to look like.
It would involve customs posts, it would involve people in uniform, and it may involve the need, for example, for cameras, physical infrastructure, possibly police presence or an army presence to back it up. The problem with that in the context of Irish politics and history is those things become targets.
Exactly.
If they attempt to put a recognisable border on the island of Ireland, I guarantee, in fact, I know that arrangements are already being made. There'll be violence again.
Now, checks on the border would, I think, allow some people who are a small minority but who still want to carry on violence, would allow them the opportunity to attack border posts or border guards.
The UK government says that it won't put up a border even if there isn't a deal. So the EU will insist on a border.
we have to make sure that the interests of the European Union and of the internal market will be preserved.
It'll be a hard border. They will put up checkpoints. They will eventually have to put police to protect customs officers. The police will need the protection of the British Army, and we're back to square one.
It would be my judgment that if there was a hard Brexit and a border with physical structure, I would be very sure that the dissidents would be violently against it.
Even violence could return if that border is put into place in some way.
There is a fear, and I'd have to say that fear has grown more and more over the last few years. I mean, we know there's dissident activity. We know they've been recruiting.
All of us built the Good Friday Agreement and a peace process that's now very robust. But Brexit threatens to sunder all of that.
We do not want a guarded border.
Keep history in mind.
There is still women and men that are willing and capable of carrying out acts of armed resistance against the British state.
We have the dissidents on our group who feed off these spectaculars, and there is no doubt that they will attack any type of installation along that border.
In fact, I know that arrangements are already being made. There'll be violence again.
I mean, you couldn't get any more clearer than that. I mean, that was the threat of violence. That man at the very end there, he said that he knows that arrangements that has already been made. If there's a border between Ireland, the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, well, there would be violence, and arrangements has already been made. That's what he said. You see, and this is what has our democracy turned on its head. I mean, we voted. Now, some people from the unionist community didn't vote to leave the EU. I was one of those Brexiteers that placed my axe in leave the EU, and I formed, as did many people here in Northern Ireland, we formed part of that 17.4 plus million people who voted for Brexit. And what did David Cameron say before that the referendum took place on the 23rd of June 2016? He said that this is a once in a lifetime vote, and if you vote and if the people decide to leave or remain, well, the people's will be implemented, and there will not be any negotiations or renegotiations, and we'll be leaving or we'll be staying if they had it. But we won. You know, we won that referendum fair and square, and that's what you call democracy. And, you know, according to democracy, you can't cherry pick that you'll deliver democracy in a way to certain sections of people. I mean, democracy is being literally, it's being diminished here. Do you know, it's being trashed, and all because of the threat of violence. So, like, what am I saying here? I'm saying that you know, these people, they threaten violence, and because they threaten violence, will the British government decide that they're not going to deliver democracy for the people of Northern Ireland? You know, they're going to discriminate against the people of Northern Ireland. They're going to put the entire United Kingdom in jeopardy because of the threat of violence. I mean, we can't be implementing our politics in a way that we do what the terrorists actually tell us. We can't be implementing our whole entire political system in a way that if you know, Sinn Féin or the IRA or any terrorist organisation suggests that they're going to create violence. Well, you know, you can't change the way democracy works for those people. So this is the sorts of things that we want to be talking to the Irish Minister for Foreign Affairs. We want to be asking Simon Coveney that, why do you think that you can treat us, that you can insist that we are second-class citizens, that we would be broken up and placed aside from the rest of the United Kingdom? Why do you think that you can remove our Britishness? You know, it's my birthright to be British. I live in Northern Ireland. I was born in Northern Ireland. I was born a British citizen. And, you know, I have no gripe with ordinary nationalist people or ordinary Catholic people, but I do have a gripe with Simon Coveney right now. And I do have a huge gripe with these terrorists who are terrorising in a way that then unfairness is levied upon me. And levied upon the rest of the people of the United Kingdom. So we really need to ask these people, who writes their script? Why do they think that they can create some sort of togetherness by driving people apart? Why do they think that they can create, some sort of reconciliation and togetherness by absolutely insulting the people of Northern Ireland? And why do they think that we would want to reconcile or become part of some sort of united Ireland? Ireland will never be united whilst people like this, whilst they continue to be on the backs of people, and whilst their ministers, the cheerleaders in the Irish style right now, whilst they insist that British Unionists lose their democracy and are removed from the rest of the United Kingdom. I mean, that just simply isn't on. And I would appeal to your own politicians right now, and I've said it before, that the only way to break this protocol is to remove any participation in any meetings or anything with the Irish Republic right now. And, they really do need to say that there won't be any more participation with these people. There won't be any more dealings with the EU until, and also the Belfast Agreement. I believe that they should put a time-phased withdrawal from all the mechanisms that flow from the Belfast Agreement, unless these people want to actually permit democracy to function and to ensure that British Unionists are not separated from the rest of the United Kingdom, to ensure that if there can't be a border in Ireland, they say, according to the Belfast Agreement, well then it follows that there can't be a border in the North Channel. And why do they think that this is okay to do on British Unionists? I mean, this is total corruption. And this is totally anti-democratic. Now, we know that there's some court cases coming down the line, and they will be interesting. But in the meantime, we need to treat Ireland as a hostile state trying to destroy and break up the United Kingdom. And why isn't it that our politicians are not treating these people as a hostile state? Now, I'm not saying that we need to be involved in physical violence, because I would always argue and caution against that. But we need to do things in a way that we just show these people that we're getting off our knees, and I'm not talking about me. I'm not on my knees. I'd never be on my knees with these people. But I'm talking about our politicians. Some of them, they're groveling, they're sitting on their knees, and they're not doing anything which is meaningful or proactive. I mean, they're putting in place some half-baked measures to try to resolve this protocol problem, and they've no chance of working under the circumstances that they're following. Now, I know that the DUP, they hopped on board a legal challenge along with Jim Allister, Ben Habib, Kate Hoey, and amongst a few others. I think now the Ulster Unionist Party have joined on board too there, along with the DUP. Now, I would just like to see that legal challenge going well. I mean, it's totally winnable, because we have been discriminated against. We have had our democracy denied, and if a court of law assesses it for what it is, it should be actually it should find in favour of British Unionists. So rule on that day, and I do know that there's another court case coming down the line, and in fact the other court case will probably get there before the DUP and Jim Allister and Ben Habib and co, before they get there. And again, I'll be watching those both court cases, and I'll be watching with a hawk-like eye to see what's happening and what the judgment actually is. So there we go. There we have the reason why that we have a border in the North Channel, otherwise known as the Irish Sea, because Brussels have insisted that Ireland insists that there can't be a border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, but there can be a border between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom, and that is totally unacceptable. And that really that shows why that we wanted to leave the EU in the first place, because they're dictators. They don't listen to people. And you see the likes of Simon Coveney and the rest of the Irish government there, that they're cheerleaders for these people. They say that they want to protect peace, but what are they doing? They are trashing this what was meant to be a peace agreement. which has become an appeasement process, and that's all it is. It's just about appeasing the terrorists to stop the terrorists from shooting and bombing. And don't let anybody ever say that British Unionists were the aggressors in this, because they weren't, and they never were. The leopard, the IRA leopard, the Republican leopard, and all that surrounds those people, including right now the Irish state. Well, you see, they are aggressing against the United Kingdom. That's what they're doing. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So again, I appeal to the Irish Department of Foreign Affairs, specifically Simon Coveney, and I'm asking Simon Coveney to come and to talk to British Unionists here, so that we can ask you a few questions with reference: who writes your script, and who develops your logic that the peace agreement has to be protected, but not for British Unionists, and how is that going to turn out in the future? All that will do, Simon, is to create resentment. Totally. I mean, if there ever was a chance of people coming together here, all you people are doing is that you are forcing that to, you'll never have reconciliation in this place whilst you continue to aggress against people. I mean, surely if you were trying to solve a problem, what you would be doing is you would be taking everybody's concerns into consideration, and you would be laying out bare the needs of everyone. Do British Unionists have needs the same way as everybody else does? So maybe it's time that you began listening to us. Maybe it's time that you came on here and you explained to us the logic of your forcefulness and your push, and every time that whenever we talk about that protocol having to be binned and having to remove the Irish Sea border or the North Channel border, whenever we talk about that, whenever our politicians talk about it, all you people can do is to insult the people, the British people of Northern Ireland. That's where we find ourselves today in March of 2021 because of these people. And I have to say, if I was our politicians, our top politicians, namely the DUP, because the DUP do have it within their weaponry to break this. If I was, in any way in control of the DUP, well, I would be putting in place, I would say that, it's coming up to Good Friday here. Good Friday, I think it's on the 2nd of August. And I would say that if that protocol and that border in the sea isn't removed by Good Friday this year, well, I would say that the day that Good Friday agreement, the Belfast Agreement, was put in place in Good Friday of 1998, I would say that this Good Friday, if it's not away, if the border in the Irish Sea, the North Channel, isn't away by then, well, I would say that the Belfast Agreement is no longer, and Unionists no longer are supporting something which doesn't deliver for British Unionists, and it definitely doesn't deliver for us. All that delivers for us is this so-called New Ireland that they're banging on about. And, and we'll get into that on another stream, but, whenever I speak to people in Ireland, ordinary Irish citizens, ordinary decent live and let live people in the south, well, you see, they don't like Simon Coveney. They don't like Simon Coveney's government either. And why? Because you see, the Irish citizens in the south right now are being made second-class citizens there also. And you see, this is what it is. You see, this is what this Irish establishment actually does, is that they think they know better, and they think that they can dictate to people, and they think with the power of Brussels and the EU behind them, they think that they can push British Unionists around. Well, look, that's not going to happen. That definitely isn't going to happen. And with reference, this place in Notting Hill, number 29 Notting Hill in Belfast, I'm asking people not to go near it, and I'm appealing to people that we don't want any violence around this place. We don't want anyone trying to, damage it or whatever. I mean, I'll just say right now, I mean, there's a lot of security in that place, and we don't want anybody getting a criminal record or whatever. I would say leave this to me, and what I'll do is I'll be going there this week and next week and the week after, and I'll be popping a little letter through the letterbox asking for Simon Coveney to be coming on here and maybe listing out a few points just really asking why that it is that he thinks that we can be treated as second-class citizens, as inferior to everyone else. You know, we need to ask these questions and we need to get answers. And yeah, that's what I'll be doing. So I'm going to play another little video clip here just to show you something. I mean, this is a huge, huge big building. And it's, again, it's just off the Malone Road in Belfast. And it is, even though that lady had said to me on the earlier video clip, when I was asking her, was this the Irish Department for Foreign Affairs? And she, you know, she didn't really want to say that it was. But look, we went down through a lot. We went and done some research, and it actually is. And Simon Coveney is the man in charge of the Irish Department for Foreign Affairs. And I've showed that through some clips. But anyway, I mean, this is a lovely building in the leafy suburbs of just off the Malone Road there. So I'm going to play a little video clip, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk some more, and we'll go to the live chat.
Who'd live in a house like this?
Oh, that was just a bit of fun, really. Simon Coveney doesn't actually live there, but I mean, he's in charge of he's the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Irish Foreign Affairs, and they're housed in that building just off the Malone Road. And again, what I would say is that we know that there's COVID restrictions, and we know that you can't really go and you can't protest right now. But I would say that using the rules, working within the rules, I mean, I envisage protests at that place if the Irish government don't come to their senses, and maybe protests in a way that we work within the guidelines, that we limit the numbers, that we socially distance, that we wear masks, and we do everything that the regulations asks of us. And in fact, today, I mean, 40 Linden Hall Street is another building, is another place where we can deliver letters of protest to Simon Coveney and his other ministers, the Dáil right now, those people that think that British Unionists are to be used and abused and totally disregarded. I mean, because that's exactly what they're doing, and that's what they insisted that the British government do on us. And whenever you think about Boris Johnson, and whenever you think about, say, Michael Gove and that team, I mean, as Ben Habib said to me just a few weeks ago whilst he was on our stream, he said that he genuinely believes that Boris and co and his little group of people that decided to go and to literally throw Northern Ireland under the bus. He really believes that Boris Johnson had to take into consideration that maybe Northern Ireland was a price worth paying in order that Boris Johnson could have English Brexit, so that he could go forward and say to his people in England that, look, I've delivered Brexit. But the truth of the matter is that once Northern Ireland is separated, which it has been, then already in Scotland, the Scottish Nationalist Party, they're demanding the same, and as are people in Wales. And what would happen down the line, you've got to really follow this right through, what would happen down the line is that if Northern Ireland remains separated, if Scotland then goes, if Wales goes, but you see that isolates England, and it wouldn't be too long before England is probably back in the EU and back part of that club again, because they would be put under so much pressure because they're standing alone, and they would be totally isolated. And maybe this is the plan. Maybe this is the plan. And we do know that Simon Coveney and even the people in that government down there, Leo Varadkar, I mean, you've seen him. He was ramping up the threat of violence. I mean, he even took a picture of bombed out border posts from many, many years ago at Newry, and he took that to Brussels to show it around and say that we can't have a border here in Ireland because the terrorists will actually threaten violence. Surely, what should have been done is that if the terrorists were threatening violence, what they should have done is they should have said to the terrorists, well, look, if you threaten violence, we'll leave no stone unturned. We'll lock you up and we'll throw away the key, and we'll ensure that if you want to break the law, if you want to become involved in terrorism, well, you see, there's terrorism laws there to deal with that, and they should have used the law against these people. It's not about, instead of placating them, instead of literally causing the circumstances whereby British Unionists in Northern Ireland are not happy. And I don't know one British Unionist in Northern Ireland that is happy right now with this protocol. We've got as close to unity as we've ever had. And it's about time that we did have that unity. And it's about time, we can't take the pressure off our own politicians here either. We need to insist that they also keep the pressure on, and they fight the battles that need to be fought today, because the battles that we refuse to fight today are the bills that future generations will have to pay. And if we don't break this protocol, if we don't get it literally taken out of existence, if we don't get it decommissioned, if we don't remove that border in the North Channel, if we don't do this, the United Kingdom is finished. So this is a fight of our lives, people. This is exactly what this is, and we need to ensure that we win this fight, and we don't take our feet off the gas pedal. We have to continue to push, and we need more and more people. Look, again, I'm going to appeal to the live chat right now, is that if we can ask your friends, your family, anyone that you know to come in numbers to join with us here at Restore UK. We want people to come along. We want people to share these streams. We want more people to be able to come on with us and discuss these things and put our politicians behind the 8 ball, and to keep the pressure on our politicians, and even to reach out and to push out and to try to get others to talk to. I'll go anywhere. I will talk to anyone, anytime, any place, if it means trying to help and trying to solve the problems that would put the United Kingdom back into a place which isn't separated right now. So again, this is me trying to get Simon Coveney on our screen. And some people say, well, John, do you think that you have any chance? I believe that we have every chance. I believe that if this is done the right way, we will have Simon Coveney. And if he doesn't come on, maybe they'll send somebody else. I don't know. But look, I'm not going to lay off the pressure. I'm going to continue to deliver messages. We'll continue to go and rap that door. We'll continue to deliver the letters in. We'll continue to go to Linnhall Street. And we'll continue to show these people that what they are doing right now is that they're participating in an act of aggression against British Unionists here in Northern Ireland. And we wouldn't be any part with those people, not now, not in the future, if that's what they continue to do. What is a good deal here for the people of Northern Ireland? I believe that a good deal would be that if you're British, if you're a British Unionist, if you want to remain part of the United Kingdom, well, look, you should be forever permitted to do that. And the same way that if you're a nationalist or you're a Catholic and you want to look towards Dublin and you want to look towards the EU, well, look, you should be permitted to do that also. And I believe that's what a genuine settlement is. But, I don't buy into the fact that these people, what they want to do is they want to enhance nationalist Republicans at the expense of British Unionists. And it never works that way. It really doesn't work whenever people would do that. All they're doing is they're creating resentment. And, those that forget the past are condemned to repeat it. And these people are definitely in danger of permitting the circumstances whereby the past could be repeated. We need to get up off our knees, people, and we need to fight hard. And I mean really fight hard on this. And as I say, if our politicians don't want to do the right thing, well, we need to make those people not our politicians anymore. So look, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go down through the live chat for a moment or two. And then at the top of the hour, what we'll do is we're going to move off and go to something else. We're going to talk about someone else. because we have a couple of people here that are really worth the watching. And, these people, they continue to offend British unionism on a daily basis. And why is it that they think that in these hypersensitive times where, you look at someone the wrong way, or you misgender them or something, maybe they were a man that turned a woman, and you misgender them, before you know it, you'd be in jail. The police would be on top of you because of something that you said in this PC world. But yet they feel it's okay to totally discriminate against British unionists here in Northern Ireland. I mean, what sort of world is this that these people are taking us towards when that can happen? It's totally wrong, and we really, really need to have that broke and have that stopped. And one more point is that whenever you think about these, like Simon Coveney here, I mean, I'm going to ask people here to try to get me they're bound to have guidelines, they're bound to have like a pledge of office, which makes it that they can't really discriminate against people. They can't insist that democracy would be broke or anything else. So we really need to pour through those guidelines or that pledge of office in the Dáil right now, just to see, to read it and to try to understand why it is that the Irish government feel that they can discriminate against and insist that British unionists are made second-class citizens in their own land, because you wouldn't get away with that anywhere else right around the Western world. So why should we, as British unionists, accept that? And again, that's another angle that we can pursue these people on. So so I'm just going to pop up a few comments here on the live chat. So I'll just read through it. Correct, John. The threat of violence towards border infrastructure should have been met with the response of making republicanism aware that that's what the SAS are here for. Having said that, the truth is that the only border infrastructure to be placed along the international frontier would have been done by the EU. Well, look, again, we'll take that point, is that, it was the EU that were insisting that they needed a border, that they wanted a border. So really, it's the EU that should have borne the brunt of that border, and not us British unionists here in Northern Ireland, and that's a definite. So here we go. We'll go to this one. John, I agree tonight in the media, the weather person mentioned the storm expected to hit Ireland. Well, I live in Northern Ireland, Barry Best, doing a programme on Foyle River. And again, it's the best river in Ireland. Geography lesson, it's Northern Ireland. So Andy, you're absolutely right. And this is the fault of our own politicians here. Now, I'm going to say that, if it's the BBC, they're a totally different kettle of fish from, say, the UTV people would be, or ITV, whatever it is they call them these days. But the BBC, you see, they're meant to be a public broadcaster. They're meant to be fair. They're meant to be impartial. And they're meant to be free from partisan political control. They're meant to be capable of gaining and maintaining the respect of the entire community. So, I mean, that flies in the face of what a public broadcaster should be. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is Barabest is a BBC presenter? I think he is. That's right. So, yeah, absolutely, Andy, you're spot on what you say. So I'm just going to go down looking for more here, more comments as we go. The house is some size. The photos do not show. Right, okay, and there we go. So some people say that I shouldn't be publishing the address of this building, the Department for Irish Foreign Affairs. Well, I don't have it labelled. In fact, it's somewhat secret. Now, you will find articles if you go and you do some digging, and you'll be able to find that they do have meetings in there to do with the Department of Foreign Affairs, to which Simon Coveney is the minister. So, look, I mean, if they're not prepared to stick a notice board on that building, we'll do it for them. Well, I don't mean physically stick a notice board on, but I mean, we're now letting the people know that we have a go-to place here in Belfast that we can go and that we can deliver letters of protest, that we can deliver requests for Simon Coveney to come on and talk to British Unionists and to tell us why that he thinks that it's okay to treat British Unionists as second-class citizens in their own land. And especially in these days when the world and its dog is hypersensitive towards discriminating against people. And in fact, I tell you, we'll maybe even have a look at the Equality Commission here. and we'll try to look at things along those lines, and we'll see. I mean, is it acceptable that the Irish government would treat us as inferior, as second-class citizens, as not having a right to have democracy? Because that's what they've done. They have removed our democracy. They have insisted that we couldn't be treated in the same way as people in England, Scotland, and Wales. And whenever there was 4 constituent parts to the United Kingdom, 4 constituent parts, how is it ever right that 1 constituent part would be treated differently than 3 constituent parts in a democratic referendum? I mean, that is the total corruption of democracy, and that has been done at the behest of Simon Coveney and co, and all those threats of violence that you see, and the EU. And look, this is their game plan. They just want to have Northern Ireland, that they can use Northern Ireland to break up the rest of the United Kingdom. And I just wonder, does Boris Johnson not see this, or does he even care? Maybe he's happy enough that he'll be okay, as will the likes of Michael Gove be okay. And meantime, it's a bit like what Carson said, is that you help these people claim the letter into power, and once in power, they kick away the letter with no concern for the people that they leave behind. We were only puppets. The DUP were only puppets that kept the Conservative Party in power. And it's time that the DUP grew a set, and I mean grew a set, and put down a time frame by which that they're withdrawing total support for the Belfast Agreement. And I heard Davy Trimble today insisting that shouldn't be the case. Well, I didn't hear him. It's just in a newspaper heading. Now, if that newspaper heading represents what David Trimble did actually say, well, I'm going to say, look, you're yesterday's man, Trimble. Why don't you just go and get onto the rock that you should never have come out from under, because it's the likes of you that started this ball rolling in the first place. And look what you did to your own party. You're totally irrelevant these days. Now, I'm not saying that there's not good Ulster Unionist councillors, because I talk to them, and good Ulster Unionist people, because there is. But I would ask those people to question your own conscience whenever you're part of this party. Who, let's remember what they did was they insisted that whoever followed them should actually vote for the union. But it wasn't the union of the United Kingdom, it was the union of the EU. And how does that work out? The EU they literally want to destroy the United Kingdom. So how can you call yourself a unionist and support the EU? Are we never allowed to get away from this EU? Is this the way that this dictatorship is? It beggars belief. It's totally unbelievable that some people that call themselves unionists could actually that they support the European Union. Okay, I'm going to play a short video clip, and then whenever we come back at the top of the hour here, what I want to do is that we'll want to move on to something else. So here we go. We're just going to play something that I had asked Professor John Tong just in January there, whenever things happened that we ended up with a border in the North Channel. And let's look at this concept of democracy, and whenever that you would place your axe on a ballot paper, and I'll just pop the particular ballot paper up here for people to see. And the commentary I would give here is that it was a referendum for the entire United Kingdom, as you can see. I mean, if I place my axe here in the Leave the European Union, and 17.4 plus million other people also done exactly the same, and we won the referendum, so to speak, is it ever right? Now, this is a very serious question, and I'd like you to answer this really, carefully for me. But is it ever acceptable from an academic's point of view, from a professor of politics point of view, that democracy would be split up in the way that it was split up, and having, say, for example, there's 4 constituent parts, 3 constituent parts are treated differently than 1 constituent part? Why is that ever acceptable, John?
It's a great question, John, and it's a difficult one. It's a complex one to answer, because I get the premise of your question, and in many ways, I know where you're going with it, and I agree to a considerable extent. You asked remain or leave. It didn't say but one part of the UK will leave on different terms to the rest of the UK, and that's where I think that the Loyalists protested. And the DUP and UUP are correct in proposing departure on different terms from the rest of the UK. We also live in a world of pragmatism. So you can argue that the EU played that border for all it was worth, the north-south border. And I would have, again, some sympathy with that argument. But we knew that was coming. I would agree that the signs are not good early on. There's been shortages in supermarkets. There's been, firms unaware of what they've got to do. And if you're a Great Britain, investing in Great Britain, why would you be particularly interested in trading in Northern Ireland, given you've got this extra paperwork to complete? So I understand the annoyance of unionists.
Well, there you go, people. The total corruption of democracy, and I believe that if John Tonge had answered that the way that he should have answered it, but he really can't. He works in a university, and he wouldn't be working on any sort of government contracts or anything if he said that democracy was destroyed in that referendum. That's what happened. That's what the total corruption of democracy. That's exactly what it was. And whenever you think back to the Belfast Agreement, and again, I said this a few weeks ago, and it was Mervyn Gibson that actually alerted me to this whilst he was on our screen, at the start of the year. Mervyn Gibson said that we've never ever had a proper breakdown for the Good Friday Agreement, for the Belfast Agreement. The Northern Ireland office won't actually release the breakdown in terms of which area, whether they were Protestants or Unionists or whoever that voted for that agreement. I don't think that they actually had cross-community support for that agreement. And that actually proved itself whenever David Trimble went on and he done the wrong thing. And, even though that the IRA were using violence to extract concessions from the British government at the time, even though that was happening, who remembers the Canary Wharf bomb, where that happened in February of 1996, 2 years before the Belfast Agreement, and that was whilst the IRA was meant to be on ceasefire. But you see, they plant them big bombs, and then what they did was that Tony Blair was giving them pardon letters and immunity from prosecution and all of those things outside of the deal. They called them under the table deals where no one actually knew about. So, that's the Belfast Agreement, and the Belfast Agreement was totally corrupt, in that Jonathan Powell, Tony Blair's chief aide, he admitted on national television that if the Good Friday Agreement hadn't have been written in constructive ambiguity, then there wouldn't have been a Belfast Agreement. And what does constructive ambiguity mean? That means that the language is written in a way that it pretends to promise unionists this, and it pretends to promise, it actually did, it gave nationalists and Republicans a whole lot of things. And, the wool was actually pulled over our eyes with that Belfast Agreement. And why am I saying that? Because, you see, they told us that the constitutional position of Northern Ireland was secure, was safe, and that was the basis by which that some people actually would have voted for that agreement, because they were being told that the constitutional position of Northern Ireland was safe under the principle of consent. And now we have Brandon Lewis just a few weeks ago, and I'm going to show you a clip here. And we have Brandon Lewis just a few weeks ago in the Northern Ireland office actually tinkering with the terms of the Belfast Agreement to permit for the, let me just read the document and you'll see, read this little clip. Here we go. So the NIO confirms it tweaked the Good Friday Agreement law for critical assembly vote on Northern Ireland Protocol. Cross-community consent will not be required. Read that again. Cross-community consent will not be required. You see, that was the whole premise of the Belfast Agreement. And there's the British government coming in and changing it to corrupt what it was that was put in place. The Northern Ireland office doesn't have a right to do that. There can't be that. That's the truth. That would have been having to be put to the people. There should have been consent. There should have even been a referendum to change that. Is the truth of the matter. So this is what's happening. The total corruption of our democracy, and all because of the threat of violence, and all because that violence was ramped up in such a way that the British government decided that they didn't want the hassle. Well, look, people. We can't let this go. We shouldn't let this go. I mean, and we need to come together in our numbers, and we need to push forward. And I'm totally ashamed, I have to say this here, of some of our unionist politicians, the way that they were rolling over to this, the way that Arlene Foster would have been in meetings in December time with Michelle O'Neill and Simon Coveney, putting in place the mechanisms by which the protocol could be actually implemented, and really telling us, this is what the DUP were saying, that, well, there's really nothing that we can do about this, it's in place. Like, nonsense. I mean, it was only because of the people, it was only because of the backlash that they've actually got up with their backsides, and now that they're pretending to fight a good fight is the truth of the matter. And that's just how I see things, and I like to call a spade a spade. I mean, I want to see meaningful and proactive fight from these people, and all they're doing is they're just damaging themselves even further than what they I mean, they've already damaged themselves to such a point that many of their voters have said that they will never, ever, ever vote for the DUP again. So maybe it's time that they began trying to change things, and they began showing us what they're made of. And I would say that they need to start by just withdrawing support for the Belfast Agreement until such times as the Belfast Agreement is reinstalled to where it should have been. That is delivering for everybody, and that's treating everybody in an equal way, and not seeking to destroy one whilst it enhances another. And that's just what the Belfast Agreement has actually become. So again, I'm just going to play another little video clip, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about something completely different here at the close of the show. So just looking for a video here to play. I'll tell you what I'm going to play here. I was watching a man at the weekend, and I was talking to some people here in the background just a few days ago. I was talking to about a man that comes on our screen. He does these live music sessions. So I contacted him just a few weeks ago, and I'd asked him, could I use some of his music? And he was very courteous, and he was courteous enough to say to me, yes, go ahead. And he sent me some YouTube links to go and download the music. So this is a song that I heard a man called Chris D playing. It wasn't this weekend, it was actually last weekend. So what I've done is that I've went and I've cut this. And what we are going to do, didn't have the time to do it properly, but what we're going to do, this song is about the First World War. This is what it's about. It's about Carson's army. And it's about how that, back 100 years ago, how that, that we had a leader. We had a real leader in Edward Carson, someone to unite around, someone that many, many people got in behind. And I think that this song really says it all. And what a beautiful song. I just liked it the minute that I heard this song. So I'm going to play it, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about something else whenever we'll come back. But just listen to Chris D playing this song. And again, before anybody says anything, I mean, it mentions the YCV in this here. And we often have people like the Alliance Party trying to say that that's to do with terrorists or terrorism. This is about 100 years ago. This is about people who wanted to stand. They wanted to make a stand. They wanted to offer themselves to go and fight for the United Kingdom, to ensure that the United Kingdom and to ensure that the people in the future generations could lead a life free from totalitarianism and free from all the things that could have happened should the war have went in a different way. But just listen to Chris T. I think this is a very powerful song, and we're going to use this song in the future. And we're going to actually cut some clips to do with the First World War to put it in. But here we go.
Well, I walked towards the old town hall with a group of my mates by my side. Well, to join up the Ulster Division. Well, they knew I was young, but I lied. In the white CV they had trained me, well, to honor and to fight for my land. But I proudly paraded through Belfast to the sound of a fife and drum band. But arriving in Europe well, it's in me, the reality of what I would do. I would clamor all the trench ladder when the captain his whistle he blew. Well, tonight as I lie in my dugouts, well, I'm cold and encased in the mud. Well, I long to be with you, my darling, well, to hold you and to warm up my blood. We would walk hand in hand through old Belfast, through the streets that I love, sandy road. But I know that this will never happen, for tomorrow to the battle I'll go. Yes, remember I'll always will love you. Tell my mom, my dad just the same. Well, I'm afraid like the lads here beside me, London, France, I will surely remain. Well, I'll fight and I'll die for old Ulster, for the England and the red, white and blue. Well, I would die for our leader, Lord Carson. White CV, they are loyal to you. Don't disturb me, lads, I am writing to my girl back in Belfast, so true. Well, she broke her wee heart when I left her. Well, my Ulster, I'll do this for you. So I bid you good night now, my darling, for it's dark and I can't seem to write. Yes, remember the Ulster division, for the Ulster will always be right. Yes, remember the Ulster division, oh, the Ulster will always be right. Thank you.
I don't know what you thought, but I just think that was such a beautiful song, and you know, I liked it the minute that I heard it. I mean, maybe I should have known that song, but I actually didn't. I'd never heard it before, and when I heard that, I just thought that that should be a song. We should put some clips together, and we should use it here on Restore UK, really showing what happened whenever so many people throughout the years from Northern Ireland, they went and they fought and they died for to keep the United Kingdom you know, together, to keep it safe, and you know, to ensure that we would be here for a very, very long time. And you know, again, we can't forget the sacrifices that has been made. And again, that's just such a beautiful song that we're going to do something with, and we'll be playing regularly here on Restore. There you go. Hope you liked it the way that I did. So here we go. Right, we're going to move across now, and we're going to start talking about something else. So the man that we all, you know, that offends us on a daily basis, the man that I mean, he's never found wanting when it comes to missing. You know, he always looks for an opportunity to try to destabilize unionism. He tries to run unionism down. And this man, I mean, a lot of people, he's just making himself a hate figure, is the truth of the matter, for the way that he you know, unashamedly runs British Unionism down here in Northern Ireland. And who is that man? Well, okay, I'm just going to pop up a picture and we're going to talk about him. And we were away in search at the weekend of, Stephen Farry Watch. This is what we're talking about. So here we go. The Stephen Farry Watch. If you see or hear the elusive MP of North Down, let us know. Help us locate this unicorn. And why am I saying help us locate this unicorn? But you see, just a few days ago on local radio, he was actually talking about British Unionists chasing unicorns. You know, imagine that. Now, I'm going to play the clip. I'm going to play the little video clip just to hear this man. This man is unbelievable. So Stephen Farry, when he's talking about British Unionists chasing unicorns. Now, what do you say?
And rather than chasing unicorns, I think the wider political point I would make here is that what we're seeing is a ratcheting up of tensions around this notion that we're going to end up scrapping the protocol, and that somehow the protocol itself is a threat to Northern Ireland's constitutional position. But what I'm concerned is that people are ratcheting this up to something that is unattainable in terms of getting sort of any type of solution in terms of the lack of a plausible alternative to the protocol. At the same time, we have to be very, very clear. The Northern Ireland's position in the UK is exactly the same as it was back in December. It's the same as it was back 100 years ago. Northern Ireland remains part of the UK until or unless people of Northern Ireland decide otherwise through a referendum.
Yeah, that may be the case, but some people who object to the protocol might be saying they don't want a Northern Ireland which isn't the same part of the UK as England, Scotland or Wales. That they don't want a Northern Ireland where you've got to fill in a customs, export, import declaration. How is that the same Northern Ireland?
Well, I appreciate, Stephen, that we have seen changes as a consequence of Brexit in terms of the economic interface between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. And what I would say to unionism that's ratcheting up the tensions here, so I think people need to actually turn this on its head, and rather than chasing unicorns,
rather than chasing unicorns, I mean, he's telling us that this is the protocol can't be changed. He's telling us that we shouldn't be concerned that people are treating us in a totally undemocratic way. He's saying that it's okay for our democracy to be removed. It's okay for us not to have democracy the same way, and it's okay, by the way, by extension, it's okay for all those threats of violence to have delivered a border in the North Channel. I mean, who does that man think he is? And this is why that we like to do things in a humorous way, because I mean this is just a fool, this Stephen Farry character. That's all he is. He's just a a bumbling idiot is the truth of the matter. And I make no apologies for saying that, because that man offends me and offends you and offends British Unionists on a daily basis. So again, I'm going to pop up this picture just to show you, chasing unicorns. And I like that picture, which one of our team actually put together. And if you look very, very closely at it, you'll even see that he has green, white and gold eyebrows, and his little green, white and gold hair, and his little unicorn horn on top of him. So there you go. Help us locate this unicorn. If you see or you hear this elusive MP of North Down, let us know. Let us know. If you hear him speaking, if you hear him saying anything, report it across to us. Send us the detail of it, because again, just a few weeks ago, we did suggest that I mean, me personally, I'm putting myself forward here to shadow Stephen Farry. I mean, the people that stood in the general election against Stephen Farry from the unionist side would have been Alex Easton. Alex Easton's now an MLA. He's took up another post, and also the other guy, Alan Chambers from the Ulster Unionist Party, and it was the Ulster Unionist Party that stopped Alex Easton from beating this man, and as a result, the people of North Down now have an MP that doesn't represent them, that is anti-British Unionist. And again, see if you'd listened to what he was saying. He was saying Unionists need to stop ratcheting up tensions. Unionists. Now, just think about what he said there. He's telling you right now that he isn't a unionist. So he's something else, but we do see by his words and his deeds that he stands alongside, some dodgy characters, some shady characters, and he continues to do this. I mean, here's a little picture of him here, where he's sitting there quite happy with Martin McGuinness and that other guy, both IRA background. And, I've written on this here, when is a terrorist not a terrorist? Well, okay, if Stephen Farry, he picks and chooses which terrorists that he wants to sit around and be around. And then we'll look at his party leader here, Naomi Long. This one here, look, there's Naomi Long, quite happy with Bomber Anderson here, a totally unrepentant IRA terrorist. So again, we're going to take no lectures from Stephen Farry. And again, I was trying to do something with Stephen Farry also at the weekend, and again, hopefully this weekend it'll come to fruition. And if only to be shown this man for the fool that he actually is. And as I say, I'm going to be his political shadow, and I'm going to set myself up as a potential MP in the future in North Down. Now, I don't want to be an MP, is the truth of the matter. But if I get this going, if I uncover, what Stephen Farry's saying, show people how to put this fool behind the 8 ball, how to expose his every word and every time that he offends our people. If I can get this going, and then what we can try to then to do is we'll get somebody decent, somebody that's definitely going to win that seat, and we'll get them into place. And the DUP and the UUP should move aside and allow a neutral to go at this man hammer and tongs in order to win that seat back for British Unionism and the people of North Down, because the people of North Down don't deserve this bumbling idiot as their MP. They really don't. He's totally anti-British. I mean, the minute he took his seat in Westminster, he's opening up by, with the Irish language and whatnot. Hold on a wee minute here. We're British Unionists. You're representing a place in North Down where what you're doing is you're offending the people that you're meant to be the MP for. And you're happy to stand beside some terrorists, Stephen, if you're watching this, but you're not happy to stand beside other terrorists. Now, I did promise here that I was going to put up this clip. This is, Isabel Montgomery sent me this clip, and we just didn't have it up last week, but we do have it this week. So, Isabel Montgomery, if you're watching, thank you very much for delivering this. But we're going to pop up a clip here, and we're going to read from it. And this is just going to show you how offensive this idiot is, this man that tries to make all he does is he belittles British Unionists. And I mean, is that the type of thing that is befitting of an MP? Is that what an MP should be? I have a bit of fun, and I do a bit of winding up, and I do a bit of teasing, but it's only to make this screen and this stream a happy stream. But this man's in political office, and just wait till you see what he says here. How many jobs are going to be lost? How many livelihoods ruined? How many opportunities denied for the sake of some abstract notion of sovereignty? Tell me that that's not offensive to you people, because it's totally offensive to me. Some abstract notion of sovereignty. So what is this clown saying? What is this? What is this clown saying? Is he saying that I don't have a right to UK sovereignty? That I don't have a right to follow a political aspiration? That I don't have a right to a political viewpoint? Without him offending me, without this man saying that for the sake of some abstract notion of sovereignty. And we've heard other people talking about sovereignty not too long ago, and that's Micheál Martin in the Irish Republic. But what did he say to his people? He said, excuse me, he wants nothing to do with the backward idea of sovereignty. I mean, these people are traitors. These people, they don't support nationality, Britishness, your right to, in politics, to choose what it is that you support. these people are so offensive. It is unbelievable. So we need to continue. Thank you very much for that, Isabel. And we need to continue to point this out whenever this happens, to show these people for exactly what they are. So again, I'm going to go back to the live chat for a moment or two. I haven't actually got. Just to put up a photo of Colin Eastwood, Karen. We'll look for that, JJ, for the next one. I mean, that's it. That's Colin Eastwood, who he's happy enough to align with terrorists and then shout at everybody else whenever they're talking to people within their communities. They're total hypocrites. These people. Will McGrubbs is watching. Keep up the good work, John. Oh, thank you very much for those kind words, and I really do appreciate it. And and continue to come back and continue to invite other people to come on our screen. Too many pies. What do you see? If there's a written to and then you ask the DPNEB, they agree to stand aside. And that's team forward. That's nice. Right, okay. I'm not going to go. That's just too much for me to look at here. So look again. I'll just say, look again. It's the Barbara Muskimmin Wilson. Look, we have to tackle some of these things because we can't just focus on one thing. We have to go right across the board. Again, that's all I'm just going to say to you. I mean, I'm happy enough to tackle Simon Coveney. I'm happy enough to push out at Stephen Farry, because Stephen Farry continues to offend our people, and also this is what we're doing. But no, I understand. I mean, everybody can have their own views, but look, I'm happy to do what I'm doing, and I hope you understand that everything that we're doing is proactive, and it's meaningful and proactive, and will remain that way. So we will. So here we go. Prince Harry back. Here we go. Look, I'm going to pop this up by JJ Johns. 1,000 times better entertainment than not me, Megan. Yeah, okay. I've been listening to that today, and all those people are doing is they're winding things up, they're ratcheting things up, and we've seen it in the summer where these Americans they almost caused race war in this country. Even here, right across the Western world, and it's unbelievable because people were generally getting on good, and these people, all they want to do is to use the race and to stir things up and to wind things up and to white privilege. Imagine, yeah. Well, here, British Unionists here in Northern Ireland don't have white privilege right now, do they? We're being treated as second-class citizens. So, yeah, this is just it's unbelievable what's happening with Meghan and Harry, and and what are they doing? Well, I don't even want to listen to it. Is the truth of the matter. That's the way that I see that. So right, okay. So I'm actually going to go to. We've done the live chat there, and I'm now going to ask people yet again. I'm going to ask people to support us, support our work, help put us in the position where what we could do is we could have a few people working on this full time, so that we could. I mean, if we had a team of full-time journalists working, uncovering stories, watching people's every word, and being on top of things. What could we do if we were working on this full time? We could do a real good job for it on behalf of the people of Northern Ireland, and then extend it right around the United Kingdom. We could do that. So I'm going to pop up a little link here onto the front, and again, it's here. And look, these platforms are free at the point of delivery, and they'll remain free. And no matter why we're supported or we're not supported, the platforms will continue. And I have to say, there's been a lot of people that actually has supported us, and that money will be put to very, very, very good use. And you'll see that in the very, very near future, of how much good use that it is being put. It's being put to good use right now as we speak. So here we go, and we'll have an announcement on that there on our next stream. So we will, and hopefully we'll have some little items that we can show people, and I think everybody will be very, very happy to see. So I'm just going down through the live chat looking for the link. So just bear with me for a second or two. And in fact, what I will do, here it is here, right? Okay. So in the stream, you'll see this link, and look, again, if anyone would like to support us, and help with their work, well, you know, feel free to pop a few pound in, and together we can do this properly, and we can transform, restore, and Forgotten Voices Media into a full-time media outlet, with freedom of the press, with full-time journalists working for and on behalf, uncovering the stories that the mainstream media are refusing to uncover. I mean, just what you've seen there at the weekend. I mean, that's typical. That's just one example of how that things can be done. So again, what I'm going to do before that we close is that I'm going to go and I'm going to play the little clip that we had of the outside Simon Coveney's Department for Irish Foreign Affairs in Notting Hill, just off the Malone Road in Belfast. And as I say, I'll be attending there over the next couple of weeks, popping in letters, asking for Simon Coveney to come on this screen and to make himself accountable to British Unionists here in Northern Ireland. That's what we want to do. So again, I'm going to look for this video and we'll get it played. And then what we'll do is we'll come back, we'll say our goodbyes, and we'll play us out with our usual tunes. So we will. So here we go. Back to the little clip that was done at the weekend. And again, if you listen to these words, listen to what this lady said. I mean, she says that this is the official place is at 40 Linden Hall Street, but she didn't deny that this was actually an Irish building. And then we go and we do the research, and we find that it is actually to do with the Department of Foreign Affairs, which Simon Coveney is the minister for. So over to the clip again, and we'll come back, we'll say our goodbyes, and we'll play us out with a few tunes.
No, doesn't seem to be anybody there. Anyway, we're here outside the Department for Irish Foreign Affairs in Belfast, and what we're wanting to know is that if we can deliver maybe a letter here sometime next week for Simon Coveney. Simon Coveney, over the past few days, I mean, he's sticking his nose into affairs here in the United Kingdom, and the problem with that is that, you know, and he's not really taking unionists into considerations whatsoever. So again, this is somewhere where we'll be back at next week in order to try to establish if the Irish government are actually willing to take unionist concerns into consideration. We really have to get to the bottom of this, and this is where we should be. Hello.
So that was the first clip. This is the second part of that playing now.
The residents.
The residents here. I mean, there's no one lives here. Is this where Simon Coveney and whatnot would come to?
Who am I speaking to?
Right, well, you see, look, we're unionists, basically, right? We run a citizens' journalism. This is what we're involved in, a thing called Restore UK. Right. And, you know, we've just been told that this is the Department for Irish Foreign Affairs. And I'm just wondering if this is somewhere that I can drop a letter that Simon Coveney would get.
Well, your best bet is to drop it into the British Irish Secretariat.
Right, okay. Whereabouts is that, love?
40 Linden Hall Street.
40 Linden Hall Street, yeah.
Second floor.
Right, okay. But this isn't the building. I mean, we were given this information that this was the Irish Department for Foreign Affairs. Is that right?
No. It's not, no.
Is this not to do with Ireland, this place? I think it is, because we know people that's been here in meetings.
Yes, yeah, I mean it is, I suppose you could say, but it isn't a department, it's not.
Right, so who would be here under normal circumstances?
Nobody from the government.
No, nobody from the government, okay. Right, fair enough. No, again, we're just wanting to know, again, so, yeah. Well, look, I mean, if I were to drop a letter in here, could we get it to Simon Coveney? And all we wanted to do is we want to invite him on our show, basically, to come and talk to British Unionists. What we think that he's not really taking into consideration British Unionist concerns over this protocol.
Yeah,
do you know?
Well, no, absolutely. Your best bet is the official office is 40 Linden Hall Street, second floor.
Right, okay.
It's the British Irish Secretary.
We'll drop it there. But listen, thanks very much for coming out. And look, and I hope it didn't disturb you or anything.
No, you're great.
Not meaning to. Thank you very much now. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So there you go. The Irish Department of Foreign Affairs and Simon Coveney is the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and that's just on our doorstep. And, you know, I'll be back there again and again and again, and I'll be dropping in some letters to Simon, asking Simon to come on our screen to explain why that it is that he thinks that he can treat British Unionists as second-class citizens in their own land. And again, there's our friend Gerald, is on our live chat here. And Gerald, again, you're very, very welcome. So you're very, very welcome. And what we're here to do is that we're here to try to ensure that everybody gets a fair crack of the whip here in Northern Ireland. And yes, Gerald, I'm going to take you up. And I mean, if you do want to come on and have a discussion with me on here, where we can discuss maybe the Irish language, we can discuss how the language has been weaponized, we can discuss that Sinn Féin, according to the Shane Walsh strategy, where he wants to green Northern Ireland street by street by weaponizing the language. I mean, again, I'll say this, is that how does that pan out? I mean, that's not a way to win support towards that language. You know, if it was done in the right way, well, maybe people would, you know, it would bear in and nobody would have any problems. But the unfortunate fact is that it's being put into the hands of destabilizers, extremists. Let's remind ourselves of who Shane Walsh was. Shane Walsh, he took the crap out of his backside and he was spreading it around the walls, and then he was living in that there in the H blocks, you know. I mean, what type of extremist is that? And yet imagine leaving an extremist like that in charge of the strategy to green Northern Ireland street by weaponizing the Irish language. So Gerald, there you go. You'd be very, very welcome to come on and we can talk about that. And I don't know why, you probably do know, Gerald, but I was working with a guy called Professor Kieran Quigley just a few years ago with reference to the Irish language. And, you know, and what we were trying to do is we were trying to say that why would you use your language in a way that all you're going to do is cause offense to people? I mean, surely this could be done in another way where it doesn't have to have the effect that the destabilizers actually mean for it. So there we go. But anyway, Gerald, thanks for coming along, and come back. Please come back. And look, and again, you're very, very welcome if you want to join me on a screen some night to talk about the Irish language. And we'll tell you what we know about it and why that it is that it could be used under the current circumstances to offend many, many British Unionists. And again, that's something that we want to talk to Simon Coveney about, is about, you know, that's not the way to create reconciliation for the future. The way to create reconciliation is by laying everybody's concerns and problems out there, by taking the needs of people, not the wants of ideologies, and dealing with those needs and telling the wants that, you know, we'll maybe deal with some of the wants whenever we have everything else sorted out. And then that way that no future generations will lose their lives, will be beaten up upon. I mean, you hear it regularly, don't you, that young kids are being attacked in the street because they're Protestant, because they're Catholic or whatever. And yet this is what people do for their own political ends. They continue to ratchet up those tensions, and it's wrong. It is totally wrong, and it needs to stop. So thanks for coming along, Gerald. So anyway, thank you very much, people, for coming along. And I do see that there's a few people there to put some money in the kitty, and I'm really, really appreciative for that. And, you know, and maybe it'll get to the stage where what we can do is that we can have a few, starting off small, a few full-time people working on these things, and we'll have a mainstream media capability for and on behalf of the people, the people's media, funded by the people and worked and you know, administered by people, and that's what we would give a guarantee that would happen. And we'll do more of that type of stuff there, what you see, where we went to, and we uncovered this somewhat secretive place in the just off the Malone in Belfast, where that we can actually access, by popping a letter into the letterbox, we can access Simon Coveney. So, and again, I'm appealing to people not to go near that place. Don't go near that place. Leave that to people like myself, where I will make representations. We'll go and we'll pop the letter and we'll see if we get Simon to come on our screen, and we'll work from there, because we don't want anybody getting into any trouble. I mean, it's not worth getting anybody into any trouble over. So again, I'm appealing to people not to go near that place on Notting Hill, just off the Malone Road. And we'll do this in a way that is totally above board. That's what we need to do. So look, people, thank you very much for coming along. Thanks to everybody. Again, you know, the numbers have remained strong across the screens. I mean, I'm seeing that from the different platforms here, and it's remained quite high. And thanks to the people that has put the money in. And again, I'm just going to pop this up by JJ Johns, 40 Linden Hall Street, Belfast, and 29 Notting Hill, Malone Road, Belfast. I'll be sending them a few Northern Ireland GB centenary. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the way to do things, you know. But look, again, I'm appealing to people to leave it for a few weeks. That we try to get an answer from Simon Coveney. And I have other people working in this, people that, you know, from within our community that knows the Irish government, and they're also making representations to have someone of a high stature from the Dáil to come and to talk to us and to explain to us why they think that they can discriminate against us and why they can treat us like second-class citizens. That's not acceptable, and we never ever should have it in a way that it's made acceptable, because it's not. This is 2021. This isn't the Dark Ages, and they're forever telling us that we want to live in a society with tolerance and respect for people and equality. Well, it's about time British Unionists had some tolerance, respect, and equality. So, people, thanks very much. I'll tell you what I'm going to do here, and this is for Gerald, is that, again, Gerald, I'll have to explain this here before you fall off your seat. I'm going to play a song from a man called Chris D that I heard just 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to play this. I'm going to play us out with a couple of songs, and I fell in love with this song the minute I heard about it, and it talks about in years gone by, you know, 100 years ago, whenever that people from Northern Ireland, people from Southern Ireland, I mean, there's a monument in the south that is the 49,400 Irish citizens that went and stood beside British people, that stood alongside Allied forces in the World War effort. And you know, that's a fact, Gerald. That is an absolute fact. And I've spent some time down there with Irish people, decent, genuine Irish people from the south. And you know, and this song that I'm about to play from this man Chris D, it talks about how that people stood behind Edward Carson in years gone by, Carson's army, and they went. And they did stand together, the 36th Ulster Division, and they stood together with Irish citizens to ensure that the United Kingdom and to ensure that Ireland and everywhere else, you know, in the Western world wasn't going to be taken over by totalitarianism, and you know, in order to provide a better life for everybody, you know. So I'm going to play this song, and again, I've just had to explain what it was. It's about the First World War. And I know that you might hear the term YCV, you see, but that's what Carson's army was. So that was just for the purpose of explaining to Gerald that this isn't, this is about an army. This isn't about terrorism or paramilitaries or anything else. And it's a great song. So listen very carefully. I so like this song, and we're going to put some First World War clips onto this, and we'll make it a feature here at Restore. So over to this song, then we'll come back. And we'll definitely say our goodbyes this time. It was only because Gerald came along with it went on. And thanks very much for staying with us, people.
Well, I walked towards the old town hall with a group of my mates by my side. Looked to join up the Ulster Division. Well, they knew I was young, but I lied. In the white CV they had trained me, well, to honor and to fight for my land. But I proudly paraded through Belfast to the sound of a fife and drum band. But arriving in Europe, well, it hit me the reality of what I would do. I would clamor all the trench ladder when the captain his whistle he blew. Well, tonight as I lie in my dugout, well, I'm cold and encased in the mud. Well, I long to be with you, my darling. Well, to hold you and to warm up my blood. We would walk hand in hand through old Belfast, through the streets that I love sandy road. But I know that this will never happen, for tomorrow to the battle I'll go. Yes, remember I'll always will love you. Tell my mom, my dad just the same. Well, I'm afraid like the lads here beside me, London, France, I will surely remain. Well, I'll fight and I'll die for old Ulster, for the England and the red, white and blue. Well, I would die for our leader, Lord Carson. White, sea, green, they are loyal to you. Don't disturb me, lads, I am writing to my girl back in Belfast, so true. Well, she broke her wee heart when I left her. Well, my Ulster, I'll do this for you. So I bid you good night now, my darling, for it's dark and I can't seem to write. Yes, remember the Ulster Division, for the Ulster will always be right. Yes, remember the Ulster Division, oh, the Ulster will always be right. Thank you.
What a lovely wee song. Do you know, I mean, as I say, I've really taken to that song, and we must do some video clips onto it with reference the what happened in the First World War, and how that you know, that 49,400 Irishmen also gave their lives in that war. And there's a monument in Dublin, which is testament to that fact. And yeah, and here we are today in 2021. Where the Irish state, the Republic of Ireland, has really declared war on the United Kingdom. Now, I'm not saying it's physical war, but certainly they're hoping to destroy the United Kingdom. They're hoping to break up the United Kingdom. We must never, ever, ever let that happen. And I'm not saying to fight this physically. We can do this in a way that is we work smart. We don't have to work hard. And we're starting by asking Simon Coveney on our screen. So thanks very much, people, for coming along. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go to playing us out. And again, until next time. And we've got a good show lined up for you on Wednesday evening. So don't forget, I'll be putting out a poster to that very, very shortly. So thank you very much for coming along. Cheerio, people.
Just across the Irish Sea stirs a heart of loyalty, raising honor and indignity, drives the will to keep us British free. Not alone are we on this journey, for in a land just across the sea is a hand that reaches out of friendship, and a bond that's lasted centuries. And its hands across the water, reaching out for you and me, for Queen Ulster and for Scotland, help to keep our loyal people free. Let the cry be no surrender. Let no one doubt our loyalty. Reaching out to the brave red hand of Ulster is the hand across the sea. Help to keep our loyal people free. Let the cry be no surrender. Let no one doubt our loyalty. Reaching out to the brave red hand of Ulster is a hand across the sea. Just across the Irish Sea stirs a heart of loyalty, raising honor and dignity. Drive the will to keep us British free, not alone, only on this journey, or in a land just across the sea. It's a hand that reaches out in friendship. It's the hand across the sea. It's the hand across the sea.